I know. I will come to me. Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Chiru, and I am the host of Fight CPS World Talk with Miss G and the gang. And the gang today is Miss Star Bowman. Hello, Miss Star.
Hey.
How are you, honey?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So I guess what I wanted to, I want to start with something that I believe is going to help a lot of you guys watching the show today. Um, Grace, before I start, Grace, send me a link to through my phone because a couple of clients want to watch the show, please. Um, okay. So you know how it is when you get people saying, you know what, I'm going to send a letter to the judge, or I'm going to send a letter to the social worker or the supervisor, what have you, right?
Yeah.
When you send a letter pertaining to a case, make sure that you write the whole name, meaning Joe Smith. My name is Joe Smith. I am the biological father for Heather Smith, um, born August 13, 2019. Um, and then you put your case number and your department number and the court, right? Now, when you address a judge, don't think the judge is going to know the nickname for the child or your nickname, your family nickname to you. Because oftentimes people say, oh, yeah, I say, when I read the letter, it says pumpkin. Pumpkin, that's what the child was called when she was home. Pumpkin, and I had an argument, blah, 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 blah. But that's not going to help you because you have to speak to them in a legal term. Legal term. They don't know who Pumpkin is. They don't care who Pumpkin is. They care about what's the name that's written on the court documents. Okay? That's very important. Start, is there anything you want to add to that? Because
No,
I
ask is it? Are we allowed? Because I remember when I looked that up in my state, in Pennsylvania, because I wanted to write a letter to the judge that we had, and it was frowned upon to do that. Is that the case for of every state?
you know what? Davis doesn't recommend anybody writing letters to the judge, but
Hmm.
oftentimes I get people saying, I wrote a letter. And then I want to see the letter. They email it to me. And it's completely bad. It's so bad. I can't emphasize enough to you how bad it is. Because they don't address some of them address the child's first name, not the last name. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
oftentimes they think the judge knows who they're talking about, like the judge doesn't have any other cases but theirs. You know what I'm talking about? It's just not legally formatted correctly. So my thing is, if you want to write to the judge, please do so if you feel the need to, but make sure that you use the right legal verbiage. That's all I'm saying.
And also check your state because your state might not allow it. I know our state doesn't.
um
At least that's last I checked, 2021. They didn't allow us to write letters to the judge at all pertaining to.
well, they but I don't know if California allows it. The couple of people that I'm talking about, they're both in California.
Okay.
So I honest to God don't know if California allows it or not, but that's something maybe we can ask Davis tonight. I can ask him tonight on the show.
Yeah.
Because it's just not going to help you if you don't know how to word it correctly.
Everything can be used against you.
Everything will be used against you if you don't know what you're doing. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And also, I want to address something to you guys as well. We all know how corrupt the system is. We all know how corrupt the court appointed attorneys are. I want to address this to you. Court appointed attorneys are not there to help you. They're there to enforce what the court wants. They're not there to fight for you and the children, obviously. They're there to enforce for example, if the social worker could not get you to sign a safety plan, your attorney is going to convince you to sign that safety plan. And he or she is going to convince you that if you don't do so, you're not going to get your children back. The court appointed attorney will also try to convince you that if you don't plead guilty, Like some of, actually most of them say, if you sign this today that you're guilty, then you're going to get your children back today. That's not true. That's a lie. That's straight out lie. You're not going to get your children back today if you sign that. Anything that they want you to do, remember, there's always a motive behind it. There's not, the motive is very clear if you understand what I'm talking about. The motive is to accommodate the courts, accommodate the county. And once they accommodate the county, that's called job security for them. So it's job security for everybody involved. Okay. So when they force you to do something against your will, you should be able to report it and change attorneys. If you don't have money to hire an attorney, then I suggest you change attorneys. And when you want to communicate with your attorney, I suggest that you communicate with the attorney in writing. Do not think that you can just communicate with any of them. Attorneys, social workers, all that should be in writing. You should not meet a social worker without your attorney. If your attorney says go ahead and do it, that's straight out lie. He or she needs to be present when you are speaking to a social worker. If they want to meet with you, your attorney should be able at least to be on the phone to hear what's going on. And I've noticed a lot of court appointed attorneys don't do that. They do not do that. They completely dismiss you and they tell you, okay, I'm going to be there or I'm going to be on the call with you. And then they never show up and they're never on the call. You can't find them. So if your court appointed attorney tells you, I'm going to be there, tell him or her, hey, I don't mind you being on speaker and you know, hearing what they have to ask me and objecting to anything they're asking me that I shouldn't be answering. Right? See what he or she are going to say about that. Okay. But I highly recommend you not speaking to a social worker without your attorney, whether you hired an attorney or whether you are dealing with the court appointed attorney. Okay. Um, Star, go ahead, take it from here if you have anything to add.
No, just you were touching upon how many people are actually involved, and there's so many people that are involved in their pockets with this. It's and just your case around you. You got your guardian ad litem. You got the kids. Well, the kids usually have two lawyers in my state. One for their emotional needs and what they want, and one for the needs of what they feel they should have. They have your psychiatrist for the kids, for the parents. The caseworkers, the in-home team, which usually is an advocate and a therapist, and all these people that are involved just on the level of one family are,
Mm-hmm.
hey, there she is. It's crazy. It's the amount of money that a lot of people, that if this would just all evaporate and go away, that a lot of people would be without money, and I don't think they're going to let that happen. Because I've went above, and I've went to state representatives, I've went to the senator, I've been to everybody I could think of in my town, in my area, and nobody wants to help. In fact, they just all derail the conversation of the voicemail to other people, and you get to start to figure out why that is once you dig a little deeper into it. And it's really sad. It's really sad.
Uh, Miss Stacy.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, I'm here. No makeup today. This is me and the. How are you ladies doing?
Good. How are you?
Um, so, Stacy, we were talking about families who want to write letters to the judge, and the way they word the letters is not legally worded. I mean, it's not done correctly because they always indicate like the first name of the person, or they don't say that this person is a social worker. They don't say who this person is, or they address them as nicknames that they used to call, or when they're addressing a social worker they say, well, she. But when the judge reads a letter, who is she? Like, who is this she, and who is this Monica Bowman? Is she a social worker? What is she? It's kind of like you have to address the judges or the person that's reading this correctly. And oftentimes they're not doing it right. And then the judge will not look at the letter. He or she would not want to look at it, don't care about it.
Well,
They don't.
there's a couple of things. For one thing, I'm a physician assistant, so I'm on my lunch break. But one thing is sometimes patients will come in and they'll talk to me like I know their whole entire history from 1977 to present, and or if they were literally in the hospital at another facility yesterday, I'm supposed to be like
Mm-hmm.
omniscient of this.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to understand that, judges have multiple cases, not just one. So you do have to be careful too, just in case that they don't know all the details you're talking about because it's not immediately before them sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you have to be careful too, because there was the case with Angela Frainer where she got really upset with the judge because her daughter had been disclosing sex abuse. The daughter even testified in court, don't send me with him. Please don't send me with him. And the daughter even said in court that he was sexually abusing her. And Angela Frainer wrote a letter to the judge, and I can't say exactly what she wrote, but it was something to the effect of, uh, you'll pay for this. And the judge took that as a threat, took her child away, and put her in jail. So, and really, she was just trying to say when
Wow.
you do bad things like this, it will come back around. She wasn't saying it in any sort of way. But I've seen other people, same thing, where they don't mean any threats of harm. They're just trying to say karma will get you. That the judges interpret it in their own way because they're trying to retaliate on the parent for saying that and show them who's boss. So when you're writing letters to the judge, you have to be very careful. And if you're party to a case or something, you have to send it to all the parties, or it's an ex parte communication too.
Right.
So, there, I think, if ever you want to write a letter to a judge, you should seek advisement.
Wow. Um, and that's somebody you know for sure did that.
Angela Frainer, yeah, she was public about it. It was a very, she was on social media. It was a very followed case. The email that she wrote to the judge was shared. So, yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
And
So
she
that's
doesn't, I
uh-huh.
think, I think to date, she still doesn't even know where her daughter is.
Wow.
Wow. How old is her daughter, if I may ask? I mean, I don't know if you want to disclose that, but how
Well, I
old is
think the
her daughter?
case, yeah, I think the case is a couple of years old now when this occurred. So it's either 1 or 2 years ago, and she was 14 years old at the time that I think this happened.
She was how old?
14. Hi, Lindsay.
Yeah, I seen her.
I know, Lindsay. I know.
I seen her.
I miss her so much too, believe me. I miss her a lot. She said she's going to be on next week, so I can't wait to see her next week.
Yes, she will be.
I mean, at least I get to talk to her, but
Yeah.
uh, she's so sweet. I just miss her I miss her saying, I'm on it. 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 She's just like a bubbly, just like a
Oh,
bubbly. Yeah, she's just so bubbly and so cute. I love all my girls, actually. I love my star. My star is more like a warrior out there. Star is more like a, let me put on my, what do you call that? Um, what's his name? Oh my God, Rambo. Remember when he put on his yeah, he tore up some material, put it on his girlfriend when she died. He put it on his forehead, and you remind me of him so much. You're like, I'm gonna go, and you're like putting on your your bulletproof vest. You're taking out. That's how I picture you. And then Stacy is more like, Stacy has a heart of a Mother Teresa. Um, she's very, very sweet, and you just want to help people. And I think that's why you're in this profession as well. And you're just very sweet, very, very
Huh.
sweet girl.
It's how my brain works. I've been in this profession for 25 years.
Yeah, it's a long time. You love doing what you're doing, and it shows on you. It really does. So I got the best of the three. It's not bad. Hey, some people only get one or two. I got three, so it's not bad at all. And I can't wait to meet your friends next Thursday. And I know they're going to talk as well. Did you tell them they can be part of the show or no? And what
I
do
that's for you to offer, Miss G.
Oh my God! But I told you you can offer.
Yeah, I'll let it to you. You know, it's your platform.
You're so cute. Thank you so much for that respect. I appreciate that. But yes, I would. If you approve of them, I approve of them. So
Okay.
look at it that way.
I bet you Ashley would take you up on the offer. Mhm.
Ashley,
Yep. Yep.
I think if you say it that way, then yes, I approve. Even before I ask her, I approve
All
because,
right.
like
Well,
I said, you're a good judge of character. So I trust you. I trust your judgment. I think all my girls are. I think we all are good judge of characters now because we've been through so much in life. We've seen the good and the bad, and we can literally sniff BS from far away. You know what I mean? We can sniff it. We can literally say, "Yep, you're BSing. You're BSing me." Lindsay said, "Sharing, sharing, sharing." I love you, Lindsay. I know when Lindsay's on the show, I call her Stacy, and I call Stacy Lindsay, and I miss doing that. Everyone watching, like, subscribe and share. You're so cute. Okay, so what do you have to share with others today, Stacy? And then Star and I will take over after you go back to work. Right, Star?
Yes, ma'am.
oh, Miss G, I don't know.
Oh, Miss G, just tell me.
I'm kind of sad today. So I think I'm gonna pass because I don't wanna share sadness today.
No, actually share what you feel. What do you want to share?
Yeah.
You think nobody's sad right now? Everybody's sad.
I know.
Everyone's sad.
Infighting, Miss G.
In fighting, CPS?
Infighting. When when people that are supposed to be working together to against the system, but then they fight amongst each other.
Oh God, yes. Do you not know I think I shared it with you, right? Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is sad. It is very, very sad. And I think it makes Davis sad as well too. Davis was sad about that. And a lot of people, what I've noticed, a lot of people that does these shows out there, saying that they're advocates, or not advocates, I shouldn't say advocates, because Lindsay is an advocate and I love her. She's good. And all of us are advocates actually, on this platform. But other people who, um, you thought you knew, and then you end up thinking to yourself, is like, are you really a good judge of character? Or, you question your ability to choose the right people in your life. And you find out later that they're literally deceiving other people. And when you confront the person with the information that you have, they right away blame shift you for everything. So everything that you're confronting them with, they're saying that you are that person. So when
Right.
somebody does that, that means they're narcissistic. When a narcissist does that and they shift the blame on you, and then they have their significant others supporting them, kind of like enabling them. I call them fly monkeys. When you have people like that around them that enables them and makes excuses for their actions, those are the kind of people that honestly I question their ability to be a parent.
Miss G,
That's
when
what I
I
do.
when I help people, I usually almost never charge. I just do it because I've suffered and I don't want people to suffer like I did.
Hmm.
And I recently helped this girl, and I don't. I don't have really means to help anybody myself, but I do because it's such suffering and I care to spare people from it. And um, and she took my generosity in all these delusional ways, like oh, I was itching to buy these things for her, um, and that I was bribing her, and she was talking about her boyfriend shooting me with an AK-47.
Oh yeah, well, I got death threats too from a
Yeah,
certain person I used to think they're family. Man, wow.
and it's delusional. Like, if you don't trust me, you can talk to other people that I helped, and this is who I am and this is what I do. And
I know. At least you don't have a Cash App link on your pages. You
No,
don't have
no
no.
Cash App link on my
No,
pages.
no. A lot of people, look, I got a call from someone today, this morning. She, I know she was playing games. She said, hi, Miss G, I was watching your show and I just wanted to know if you can help me on the side and I'll pay you, right? And I knew this was like not normal because nobody has ever called me to ask me something like that. And I said, no, thank you. I said, I don't do this for you paying me. I don't need your money. And then she
Mhm.
said, well, I heard you're struggling, Miss G. I'm like, well, whoever you heard that from is a liar. And I'm sure they used to also love me at one point, you know, and they will spread lies like fireworks just to get you to be, so people can discredit you whatsoever. And those are the haters that when you push a hater from your life, don't expect them to stay away. They're going to attack.
That's
They're going
funny.
to attack your character.
Hmm.
Yep. So be careful with that. Yeah.
I
So
just got a text right before the show, same thing from a random number, never heard about, and never got a text from before. And it said, I said, listen, I'm because I've been promoting the show and whatnot, and they're like, oh, they're just gonna laugh at you. I was like, who is this? Like it's just another tactic just to get you in your head, and it's negativity I don't want to be around.
yeah,
But
I know. I
it's
know,
crazy.
but
Yeah.
it's happening everywhere on social media right now. And what's a friend of mine? Well, he's not really a friend of mine. He is kind of on the show all the time. He asked me to join a group. He watches the show, that is. He asked me to join a group, and I looked at the group and I said, "Did you see the people's names on the group? So far, two names on the groups. One of them is a social worker, and the other one is someone who's pretending to be a CPS victim, helping the social worker." And he said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that." And I literally showed him the information about that social worker.
Yeah.
So therefore, I mean, come on. It's crazy. And you guys have no idea how I know these things. These things, I suspected it, but I never had proof. My gut just told me. It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. My gut just told me that this is like accurate because I felt it in my heart when I was dealing with my situation. Um, this information came from three people, two previous workers in California, and the third one is a grandmother of a social worker. A grandmother of the social worker is the one that gave me the name of her granddaughter who's pretending to be a CPS victim. When she came across my show, she said, I'm a retired grandma. I've just been watching live shows, and your show just popped up. And that was last year, I think, when I mentioned it on the show. And she told me what her granddaughter was up to. And she didn't think it was right in her heart. But she doesn't want to go against her granddaughter and, let her know that she doesn't approve. I guess I don't know what the dynamic is with the family, but she literally is the one that gave me the first heads up. The second and third heads up are previous social workers. They only worked for the department, one less than a year and the other one a year and 6 months. And they both showed me text messages. They took like screenshots of text messages and recorded conversations and all that, and of the communications between them and their supervisor and all that. And they told me that they couldn't sleep. They had a hard time sleeping at night, and they literally had to resign from the department. when when they resigned from the department, they both knew each other, and one of them told them to contact me. And then they were afraid to contact me, so she said, no, you contact her. I'll just be on the call to listen. And then we met. Me and one person of them met at Starbucks, and we started talking. She showed me a lot of stuff, and then all the information I'm sharing with you guys is accurate. Like literally, the court appointed attorneys are literally there to enforce what the department wants you to do, what
Right.
the entity wants you to do, and what the judge wants you to do. They word information on their report differently in order for them to get the funding from the federal government. And they're trained how to word the reports, meaning The reason they lie so much on the reports is because they have to word it that way in order for them to get the funding coming to them. If they don't get the funding coming to them, they're going to be without a job. So it's called job security.
Mhm.
So all this information coming to me, and to the point where I even asked them both to be on my show, and I would, like, change their voice or whatever Grace can do, and maybe block their face, or you know whatever. They are terrified of doing that, because
I
if they
I
knew.
know someone, Miss G, that might be willing to, that we can work with.
Oh
She's
my
done
God.
interviews. Yeah.
Yes, let's do it, because
Okay.
and maybe she can convince them, because I've been trying to convince them. And because they know that when they come after you, they maliciously come after you and your family, they're terrified, because one of them's sister has children, right? And the other one has kids, but they're not her kids, they're stepkids, but they're afraid to come after her
Yeah,
kids.
this woman, she faces a lot of retaliation, and what she does, and she's exposed it on social media, so I know she's not afraid to talk. But what she does is, whenever there's an ad for a temp social worker, she takes that, because she knows that they don't do any background checking or anything. They just hire real quick, because it's a desperate situation that they're asking for a temp worker. And she goes in, and then she whistle blows. And she gets fired, and then she goes to another one and gets fired, and keeps circulating. And she whistle blows.
Okay, then why not whistleblow with us? We like to
Yeah.
blow. I mean, you know what I mean.
I made a similar mistake at Subway the other day.
Subway.
I don't know about Star, but
They were
Star
cutting
and
the ends,
Stacy, but
they were cutting the ends off of the subs, and they said they were cutting the ends off the subs at Subway, and the worker goes to the other worker, "You forgot to cut the butts off." And we were like, "We like the butts."
Oh
that's
my.
not that's nothing. I think one time on Davis's show, I said something like, "What the hell did I say? Something about sex? Oh, something about 6 o'clock. I wanted to say 6 o'clock, and then I said sex." And then he's like, "Now we know where your mind is at, like,
At Miss G's house, it's always 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. That's my clock time. Yep, 6 o'clock."
Oh.
That was me. Oh, okay. Right. Nancy, where are you? Oh,
Dr. G.
Dr. G. Queen G.
Oh my god.
Queen. That's no. Remember, he said Queen B at first. He said Queen B, and I'm like, B. B stands for something else.
Right.
BITCH. He's like, no. What I meant is Queen Beyonce. I said, I don't look like Beyonce, Vincent, but we all know what he meant by Queen B. But
Bye-bye, Dr. Ruth. Hello, Dr. G.
Dr. G, I know. It's hilarious, I'm telling you. Oh my God. But honestly, yes, I would like to have her on our show. And if she wants to do, I don't know, can she do the show with us or no?
I'll try. I'll reach out to her.
Can you do that? When?
Well, I mean, technically, I kind of have to go back to work. My break is over. I'll go down. I'll log off and watch the show and comment, but I'll reach out to her.
Okay.
She might be out of work now, actually, because it's 5:30 here.
Okay. Then yeah. What time are you going home?
Girl, 2
Ah!
a.m.
Oh my God. God bless you, my love.
I
Oh
love
my
it here,
God.
though. It's really nice.
I'm glad. God bless you.
So,
That's a long
yeah.
hour. That's why we need people like you, Stacy. Yeah.
Yep. Helps when you like your job, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I'll be with you. I'll just, I'm going to log out, but I'll follow the show and I'll comment.
Okay, baby. Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah.
Bye. She's so cute. I love her. I love her so much.
So that field, I mean, for people who like to help people, I mean, I'm not a doctor like she is, but being a certified nurse's aide, and it's a rewarding career for sure.
And that's what gets me. Like, remember when I told you guys that even certified nurse are being attacked? We had a doctor literally a doctor because of his ex-wife or whatever. She's a scumbag. Um, and I said that literally because she is a scumbag. All she wanted was, like, he did nothing to this girl. Like, he had evidence, nothing. He literally did nothing to her. He was working, and she called the police and said that he attacked her, and he was at the hospital in a surgery. How in the name of God is she gonna be attacked that day, that hour, right? But the sad part about, they take his kids in the process.
What?
Yeah, but it's okay. He has them now. But what I'm saying is, they attack doctors, they attack nurses. They, it doesn't matter who you are. They're gonna attack you. They're gonna come after you. Doesn't matter. But like I said yesterday on Davis's show, or on my show, I can't remember. But I used to think everybody are victims. When I first started with Vincent, I used to think, as God is my witness, I used to think everyone was a victim of CPS, because I am a victim of CPS. I think everyone is victim. But what I realized is that, honestly speaking, not everyone is a victim. Not everyone, unfortunately. So there are some parents that needs to be looked at, right? But these parents are using their experience to make money out of it. Meaning, they're using their experience with the children, the loss of their children, to make money out of it, or to promote something for them. But they're
There's
not actually really doing it to help people.
there's a lot of foster parents that are like that too.
Yeah, a lot of foster parents are like that too, who are victims also. Well, they say they're victims.
No,
I
that's
want,
help people. Like they wanna get into the business. They say for the sake of helping,
oh,
people that need, their children to be watched, and cared for. But when you come down to it, they're just working right alongside of the caseworkers, and a lot of them aren't. I haven't met one yet. Let's just put it that way. That's in it for the right reason.
no, I know. No, foster parents, we get some foster parents. There's only one foster parent that I love, that I've had the opportunity to get to know her on a friendship level, actually. She's actually a true foster parent. She has two grown children in college, and she just likes being a mom, and she opened her home. She didn't want to adopt anyone. She's not there for adoption. She's just there to care for kids, keep her busy. And I had the opportunity to get to know her and get to know her mom. Beautiful lady, beautiful, beautiful family. And the social worker turned against her only because she defended a mother. She defended one of the moms of the children that were in her home, and the social workers were pissed
Mm.
because she went to testify, saying that this mother is great, when the way she's talking to her children, and the way the child is attentive to the mom, and you know that I don't see anything wrong with the children being returned to the mom. And the social workers, because the social workers were telling her what to say, and she said the opposite of what she was told what to say.
Mm.
So basically, there's one that I've encountered, so that she's legit, and she doesn't deserve to go through that, you know,
What do
that
you do?
retaliation.
What are you supposed to do? Like, if, for instance, I have the same kind of question in my case. When you see these things occurring, other than what I've researched and contacting the Department of, Human Resource or Human Services in your area, what can you do to hold them accountable? Just file complaints constantly? I mean, I can't even get my own
It's
CYS.
hearsay. It's
I,
hearsay to them. If you don't have proof, she's in
but
California, so she can't record them without their consent. So she
right.
couldn't record her saying that to her. And she didn't have cameras in her home. So basically, it's her word against the social worker. But
There can still be a matter of complaints filed against somebody. You know what I mean? It's after
yeah,
so many could start noticing that
yeah.
somebody.
Well, I don't know. Davis is handling that matter, so I don't know what he's doing.
In
Other than,
general, something that
I'm sorry.
in general, as far as like when there's something that goes wrong with your casework, because a lot of people have come to me and asked me about this as well, and I know it varies per state, but what exactly your protocol is to do. I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, well, it's not his word against mine. Nobody's gonna believe me." There's got to be a paper trail or some sort that you know, maybe down the road you will get evidence or you will get proof, and that you can use those things to say, "Hey, listen, I documented." Because honestly, if you don't do that, there's nothing to say that you ever disagreed with anything,
I
or that.
agree. I agree 100% what you just said. But like Lindsay said, it's only hearsay when it doesn't come from a damn social worker. Meaning, you guys know what that means. I don't have to explain it to you. So only they can do the hearsay. They can. It's only okay when they do it. But when a parent or a foster parent does it, they don't take her word or his word for it. They always take the social worker's word for it.
Right, right, and I understand that, and just what I want to just make clear sometimes is that, you know, in my case, for instance, I didn't know back when my case was actually going going to win my Supreme Court appeal, that my rights would be restored and I would have a whole lawsuit against this agency. You know, I didn't know that then. But now looking back, I would have been like, shoot, I should have filed those complaints. I should have had it documented, regardless where it goes. Because at the end of the day, if you get to that point where you're all the way at the end here and, you know, you have a lawsuit or you have different things going on, you can use that as, you know, to show that you have, you know, this going on. I look, it's documented. I filed this. I took the time to write this out and file this with the agency.
Right.
I mean, it's just still good to do it, even though it might not go nowhere. You never know.
This is yeah, exactly. I agree with you. But Davis always also says always file because that's paper trace. When you have paper trace, then you'll fight better. Your fight will be better. The reason for that is because if they say we did not know, we did not receive, yes, you did. On December 15, 2018, you received document. It was sent registered mail, blah, 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 blah to you. Example,
Yeah,
something like that. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yep.
Always send registered mail. Always send things registered mail because that registered mail is going to be very important. And also, when you send something, what I've learned, I sent something just Amazon. It's been 2 years since I got a refund. It was a shampoo kit that's supposed to be very good for your curls or whatever. And my hair, like my hair started falling off. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna return this. I sent it registered mail. It's been 2 years. I've never received a refund back. Then they come to me, Amazon, with all the emails I send them, everything, and then they said, "Well, do you have proof?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have the receipt from the postal office, and I have a videotape of the clerk taking the package from me and weighing it and how much I paid for it, right? Because
Hmm.
it was a private sender, a private company, and they still haven't sent me my refund, and it was $146.
It's
So
sad that you go
if I
through all
didn't have the evidence, right? If I didn't have the video and my receipt,
right.
they're gonna say, "Well, what makes us think you really returned it?"
Hmm.
Right? Don't you think if it works with Amazon? I mean, if I have to go to that extent with Amazon, don't you think it would? They
Yeah.
that CPS or attorneys or judges are not gonna do the same thing. What proof do you have? What proof do you have? Well, here's my proof. Because when you go sue them, you need proof. You need evidence. You've done this.
And my suggestion too, as far as the evidence is concerned, like I didn't know how much of a level this goes to, you know, as far as what they can do to get into your phone to follow you and to do things to try to get evidence against you. And
Hmm.
so started it happening to me. So I
Right.
would definitely get it off your phone, get it on a hard drive. If you would get any evidence like that, make sure you protect it because
Mhm.
they will do anything to get that from you.
Yes, they would. They will do anything to get it from you. And and honestly, don't ever think that you can be above the law. They can, but don't think you can as a parent because you need to hide your evidence. Like Star just mentioned, they do come to you, especially when you mention that you have evidence. All of a sudden, your house will be broken into.
Yeah, I wouldn't mention it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't mention. I wouldn't mention it to anyone, not even a uh, so-called CPS victims on social media, because you don't know who you're entertaining.
Yeah.
And when somebody on social media asks you questions, a lot of questions about your case, a lot of questions, please don't answer. Don't answer them. And I highly recommend that you guys do not use your real names on social media, especially if you have a CPS case. Do not use your real name unless you want to have cameras like me all over the house, inside, outside, and across the street too. I mean, I kid you not. So you need to protect yourself. You need to have somebody have access to your somebody close to you that can watch you as well, especially if you know people in law enforcement. That's good. You know what I mean? Have somebody watch you. So they are not they play dirty. People play dirty, especially in CPS. They play dirty. And
Very,
believe me, they're mafias. They're literally well,
they're
actually, I don't know if mafias are bad people, really, because mafias are your loyal friend, your loyal family until you screw with them. And that's me. I become like the mafia. No, I was kidding. Or maybe I'm not kidding. I don't know. But we'll see. I'll let you guys know later. No, but seriously, I think they're worse than the mafias.
I think
They
they're
really
part of a secret society almost, like a cult type thing. It's what I've in my research so far in my
are.
area
Right.
found out. Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. I used to say they're worse than the cartels on some of my shows, but I found out that they're literally sleeping. Some of them are dating cartels.
Hmm.
And it's the truth. You guys, honest to God, I'm not lying to you. It's the truth. And that's how you have to be closer to children to get them. Just like they found the pedophiles in Walt Disney and Disney World and in Disneyland in California. They arrested pedophiles that work there. Children were missing from Disneyland. If you guys recall like in the news, you were hearing a lot of stuff. Children were missing. A lot of kids were missing in Disneyland. So think about it. How many years I've been going to Disneyland? Most of my life I've been going to Disneyland. And a lot of times I was encountered by strange people. When my mom was in the bathroom and my dad was getting us food, when I'm waiting for them, hey little girl, you want to go over there? They're giving out free lollipops, or they're giving out free cotton candy. Yeah.
They're
Had I
doing it now.
Well, it happened to me when I was maybe 9 or 10, no, sorry, 11 years old. It happened to me. And luckily, I was like, no, I don't know you. Get away. I don't know who you are.
Yeah. Right.
Bye. Go away. And then I told my mom and dad, but they didn't think anything of it. Neither did I. I didn't think she was going to kidnap me. It was a woman, it wasn't a man. I didn't think she was going to kidnap me. I just didn't trust to go with her. But now that I hear stories like this, and this is not just now, it's been happening like that. In order for them to steal children and to traffic them, they have to be closer to them. So think about that for a minute. Think about it. You think because they're the government, they're entities working for the government, because that's all they are. Entities through the government. If the government is not doing anything about sex trafficking until a movie came out, this month, a movie came out, all of a sudden we're hearing they caught 200 people, not sure arrested or not, though. That's all we got. Vague information. So why all of a sudden they're showing this? Why didn't they do this long time ago? Because they're being exposed. And now they want to give you breadcrumbs to let you think that they've been doing something about it.
Or they want to cover it up and tell us we have aliens that are real.
Exactly. I don't
Yeah.
think they've done anything to it. Yeah.
You know.
I honestly don't. Do you
This is
think, Star, do you honestly think they've done something? I don't see it. I don't see, I don't feel it. I don't feel it. I think it's just a joke.
well, that you mean about that the
The
FBI
200 kids or
yeah,
200 people. Yeah.
sense because if you watch the video, it says on there 300,000 children, and they say it's in the whole world go missing, and that only a fraction of 5% of that comes from the United States. And I laughed because that's a joke.
That's a
There's some
joke.
that there's more kids than that in a week that go missing usually.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy, and some people, I don't know if we've talked about this in the show at all, but there's some speculation as to why they've been kidnapped or why they're taken, not just for the sex trade, but for also, I don't know if you ever heard of adrenochrome,
Yeah,
harvesting of that in their blood,
yeah,
and just satanic
yeah.
or occult type practices. This world is dark.
It
This
is
world
dark.
is so dark, and it's very, it's up to us to make that light brighter.
Yeah, and especially if they kidnap a little child,
Yep.
in foster care, whatever, and then they take that child, and all of a sudden the child is missing. Right? Where is the child missing? Where did the child go? Where did the child go? How can you just lose a child? Right? You can't just lose a child. Oh, the child opened the door and walked out. Really?
There was a
Really?
couple of them that went missing. Was that Missouri or Michigan? Not Michigan.
Mhm.
One of the M states that was like three or 400 of them went missing out of the foster system, and not even like a hair left behind.
Mhm.
Like, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound like
No,
an
it
effort
doesn't. It
either.
doesn't. No,
You
the government is behind it, and everything starts in the United States. And a close friend of mine told me that literally, they take that. This is the United States is like the headquarters for sex traffickers. Let me tell you why. They take American kids, send them to some Middle Eastern countries, right? For them to choose from them which one they want.
know, mhm.
And of course, they would do things to them that's unthinkable. But they can't do that to their own. Get it? It's forbidden. And I'm not going to say what religion I'm talking about, but they're not going to do that to their own. So they have to get the kids who are not their own from another country. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say, but um, just understand that. And it's happening in Cuba, and uh, where was your daughter, Star?
Dominican Republic.
Yeah. So it's happening everywhere. And also, there's another. Um, where is it? My God, I forgot the name of the country. It's happening in another country as well.
I heard about it in Haiti. Interesting.
Haiti. Thank you, Haiti. Haiti. So basically, it's happening everywhere. But the headquarters is the United States, and actually is proven in the movie as well. The headquarters is the United States. That's where the most are going. Am I right, Star? Have you seen the movie? Yeah,
Not yet. No.
you should. You really should see the movie, baby.
What's it
It's
called?
um, Sound of Freedom.
Okay.
Yeah, Sound of Freedom. I saw it already 3 times. I'm taking my cousin who's visiting me from Australia. I am gonna take her tonight, and we're gonna see the last showing tonight at, I think it's like 8 something, 8:15, 8:15 p.m. So just so you guys know, it's worth watching, and I don't mind paying for that movie over and over and over again. I really don't. So watch the movie because it's going to give you a lot of good insight of really how corrupt the government is in the United States. And they try to even keep it from a new president, believe it or not. I mean, I'm not talking about the current one. The current one is the pedophile. But I'm talking about I'm talking about like a decent new president, for example. They try to keep that away from him or her, whoever that will be next president. Um, but it's dirtier than you think, and that's why a lot of parents say, "I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna get you." And you know what they do? They laugh at them because you can't sue these people. You
Yeah, I've
can't
heard.
just sue them because you're a parent.
Mm. It's the
If you
odds
have
are
a, I'm sorry, what, Star?
the odds are against you. They laughed right in my face. Just they didn't think I would go this far and win the Supreme Court appeal. They don't. They think they in the bag. They just, I don't
Yeah,
get it.
they think they have everything figured out
Yeah.
because you're entitled. So what? You're entitled. You could be a doctor. Who cares? A lot of people. I used to think it's only poor people, but it's not just poor people. It's a lot of people. A lot of people. Because anytime CPS gets involved, the removal alone gets the money.
Oh yes, actually, I was just pulling that up. They
Yeah.
have, let's see, it was, they get an adoption sentence even at up to $4,000 to $6,000, an additional $2,000 for a special needs child. And then you multiply that by the percentage that the state has managed to exceed its baseline adoption number, it keeps going. And the more children that they have in the foster system, and especially if they've adopted out of not a family member, so adopted away from the family, there's more bonus and money, to come to that. And I guess basically it was trying to be as an incentive to pull kids, or whatever they say. But yeah, this, even the um, just the terminology that they use to pull the kids, neglect, that is so vague. I mean, it could
Exactly.
be as a matter of your shut off. You were homeless because your landlord, or however you became homeless, but that your landlord was selling your building and you had nowhere to go. You're in a hotel. That's enough to take the kids. They're making it so like impossible. Instead of funding the parent and helping the parent get on their feet so that they can support their child, and through this hardship they might be having, instead of doing that, they'll pay the foster parents $2,000 to $3,000 a month, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's
Yeah, I
set
do.
up and designed to benefit from it at all, not to get the actual help you need as a parent.
Yeah. But also, people out there always judge parents who are dealing with CPS, and I think you guys really need to like and re-examine yourselves, because when you judge a parent who's dealing with CPS, you don't know if the parent is really bad or not. You can't judge a book by its cover unless you get to know them. And I can speak of someone in particular because I got to know them. Get it? Now that I know the truth, I can honestly say, no, I get it now. But there's a lot of parents who are there out there who are really victims, and oftentimes they are looked at as the perpetrators, and they're not the perpetrators.
Yeah, the moment you
So,
tell, if I've shared my story before, and as soon as you say, "Oh, my kids are in foster care," they immediately look at you like you did something. If you didn't get your kid, I've heard this so many times, and I've had to explain my case to people, and they won't even sit down enough to let you show them what you have.
yeah,
To hear that, they're like, well, you must have done something. There's no way that they would have terminated your parental rights without you knowing. But yet they don't know, or not, but without a good cause. And yet do they know that here, termination of parental rights was only designed and supposed to be designed for parents who didn't want any involvement with their kids, but they keep bouncing the kid around and around and around, to make sure that it wasn't designed for parents who want their kids, who are fighting for their
nope,
kids, who are
it
doing.
wasn't.
Yeah. And that's where it just gets to a point where it gets so discouraging to people, that I've spoke to personally trying about my case, because they just have this stigma about, people who have involvement with foster care and with CPS, because they think
Yep,
they had to do something.
I agree. I totally agree. And when you said that the termination of parental rights was designed for parents who don't want any involvement with their children, that is right on, right there. That is perfect information that we need to discuss this in every show almost. Termination of parental rights was not designed um, for any parent other than the parent that is is not willing to have a relationship with their child.
So yeah, and it says it's as far as it's not designed for those parents that you completed all your tasks. You're really working for it. You're work like in my case, I did every evaluation, every test, every drug screen, everything that they wanted me to do. I showed up eager. I wanted to learn. I wanted to do these things, and it was so devastating to be told that you're going to file for this involuntary termination of my rights when I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. Like, and then you're reading the case law, and you're reading what it's designed to be for, and you're like, well, wait a minute, that's not even right. I'm not supposed to be falling in this category right now. And there's even things like housing. If you've lacked in housing, and for my case it was a big deal for me, having an eviction on my history from fleeing domestic violence. I couldn't get a landlord for the life of me to rent me an apartment. And so they were trying to use that against me, but no, but the law states you cannot use that against a parent if that's the only thing that they have to do is housing. And it's not something that, they've tried everything they could do to get it and they still can't. You can't use that against them to file termination, but they still do. In my case, they accused me of a whole bunch of stuff with no facts. I had no discovery. Well, right then and there, per the Adoption Act, you have to have two things per the Adoption Act in order to file for termination. If you can have the accusing me all you want, but you better have the facts to back it up. If you don't, the case is dismissed. Well, we went to file for that, and the judge is like, no, I want to hear it anyway. Well, what are we
They were
supposed
supposed to do the facts in the beginning.
Yeah, we
In
know.
the
And
beginning, they cannot have a disposition hearing without facts. Meaning, if you don't have facts, why they took the child to begin with from you, right?
no, I had
Well, why was the child removed? They have to have facts that moment. Otherwise, there is no reason to hold a child.
terminate your parental rights. You have to have a whole set of different facts. What the 15 to 22-month period that you were given, what you didn't do right, what they're holding against you. There's a whole different set of things they have to go by. And in order, if you don't have, if you can accuse me of saying I didn't do all my classes, but you need to have facts for that, or whatever the case may be. And they didn't have any for me. They had not one. My page, I think my termination paperwork was 1 page long, 1.5 at the most. And I was just like, wow. So it's crazy, but yeah, this stuff happens, and it's not fair to be judged by everybody that don't want to help you just because they feel it's something that you had to have done.
That's so sad.
I mean, if you sat down in my case, I could show you everything that I had. I've been dug through. In
I
my case,
believe you.
and from the day one, the 3 weeks into having signed them over, because I had went to jail for a DUI, and when I went in 3 weeks later, they already had it notated in their documents that said her adoption papers are ready to go in the back of her file. They had no intention of reunification in my case, and I didn't know that at the time, so I'm busting my butt and I'm trying to do everything I need to do above and beyond, and it was a waste of time in a way. You know what I mean? Because it was going to happen regardless. So it's in some cases it just gets to that point where I wish I knew this stuff going back then. I
Right.
wish I knew this then. And so if I can help as many people get to that knowledge now in their case before it gets a
Yeah.
little.
I didn't know either. I didn't know that a lot of stuff that goes on. Like, I don't know if I told you the story about LA firefighter with his um, new supply. They did they did he did his wife so wrong, so wrong. It makes me so angry just thinking about it. To the point where the wife knew that the person that's babysitting their children, is a judge, a juvenile dependency judge in LA County, Monterey Park Courthouse, Department 407, is the same judge that was babysitting their daughters. The daughter of the judge, that is. Um, they did their wives, he did his wife so dirty. They will take any chance whatsoever to sabotage the case, and just don't ever marry someone who has family members who are attorneys in juvenile dependency courts, or family members who are supervisors at Department of Children and Family Services.
You know what, Miss G, I want to say something real quick with that. Is my son was on juvenile probation when my case is going on. He's 18 now, but back then he was 16, and I realized how scared juvenile probation in my case was CYS. Like, they were telling them to put this in there and put that. Like, they should have had a no say in what juvenile probation wanted to do with my child, but
Yeah.
they a stipulation that my own, once he turned 18, even, he couldn't see his mother, and if he did see his mother, it would violate his probation. I
Yeah.
said, what? So you can just, and they were cowardly going along with it. The supervisors, even, I'm like, wow, this agency really must have some pull. It really must, because that's crazy.
It is sad. I agree with you 100%. Star, the way they're doing our children is so sad, and I see it in every. I used to think cops are heroes and firefighters are heroes. We have like 5 different firefighters cases, and they're all women. The ex-husband is a firefighter. Five.
Mm.
I think one is too many, but
Mhm.
we have five, and it's sad. It's sad how somebody hold their badge, and we have like, I think, 3 cases. Their exes are officers, and a case her ex two, and a case her ex is a lawyer. So, and all of them are women. So what they do is they take the badge of a man and they title it as honorable.
Hmm.
But yet, when the man is abusive and the man is dangerous, it's still honorable because of that badge. And I didn't think that that badge should be honorable when the person is abusive and the person is a pathological liar. I don't see any honor in that.
There's just got to
Because yeah,
there's
it,
got to
it,
be all these people accountable. One day
yeah,
it's like
yeah. I would, me personally, once I find out you lied to me, you're done. You're done. You can tell me, you know what, Georgette, the other day I said that you're a scumbag. And I'm like, oh, okay, why did you say that? Well, I was mad at you. Okay, cool. Are you mad at me now? No, okay, thanks. Let's move on. But if I find out or I hear that you said it behind my back and I don't know anything about it, then
I can
that's going to be history to me. To me, I don't care what you say to me. Say it to me. Say it to my face. Say it to my face. That's it. Say it to my face and let's move forward. So just imagine these people holding badges. They're literally lying to destroy their wives and kids because a child without their mother is traumatizing to them. It's traumatizing to them. The child needs both their mother and father. But when you have a father who's a scumbag, for example, who's doing things deliberately to destroy the family and he doesn't care who he steps on, think about that for a minute. Why would the child want to be with them? I think the child would want to run away from them. And I also have one advice before I will leave to mothers who have boyfriends. When your daughter tells you, when you have, your kids telling you that your boyfriend raped them, or one child tells you that what he's doing to her sister or her brother or whatever the case may be, please believe them.
or take
Please believe them. Don't believe them when the child is pregnant and in the hospital because she's throwing up and you don't know why she's throwing up. The child is 10 years old or 11 years old, rather, and she's pregnant. Think about it. Then you believe your child after you see evidence? God forbid, I don't want to see evidence. I'm going to believe my child. Believe your children. Your boyfriend, I don't care how nice he is to you, or I don't care how nice he is in front of you to the kids. You don't know what happens when you're asleep. You don't know what happens when you're at work. If you think he's at work and he left early, he's not going to tell you he left early. So if you have boyfriends, please either put cameras everywhere in your home.
Yeah.
If he lives with you, make sure that you monitor your children. Do not ever trust a man over your kids. Period. Don't do it. I mean, I like to think that's good advice. Some of you guys might be offended, but I'm sorry. But your kids come first. Your kids come before a boyfriend or a girlfriend.
Yep.
And men, when you have girlfriends, make sure that you understand who they are because most girlfriends are coming up now as sex traffickers. They'll date you for a brief minute, 3, 4 months, 5 months, and then they're after your daughter. Then your daughter goes missing and you don't know why. And she will leave you when that happens and move on to the next guy. This is proven to be true because most pedophiles are women coming at the child. Because normally a child trusts a woman, right? You think women are safe. They're not because they are after a lot of children right now. So be careful who you bring to home. Be careful who you introduce to your children.
I didn't even hear that one yet, Miss G. Jeez.
Not yet. You're gonna hear it soon.
Yeah.
But yeah. So just be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Do not introduce your children to strangers. When they're boyfriends and girlfriends, they're still strangers, really. So, in just my opinion, okay? My opinion.
Better safe
Um,
than sorry.
huh?
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, because you don't want that. A foster parent, actually, the one I was talking about, that was one of the, the girls that she had. She was pregnant by the father. I mean, sorry, by the boyfriend of the mother. And she was 11 years old. And I think she said she had her period when she was almost 10. And her sister told the foster mom that she told her mom so many times, and she didn't believe her. She told her mom what was going on, and she didn't believe her because he was the breadwinner of the home. Like, he would make more money, that he was making more money than her, and you know what I mean. She needed him because of rent and all this and expenses like that. So she didn't believe her daughter over that until she got pregnant. Then the nurse, of course, reported it to CPS, and they removed both girls. And the youngest one was 6 years old. The one that told her was 6 years old. She used to see what he was doing to her sister. And the mother would say, "He's at work. You're lying. He was at work." But that's what he told her. He was working. But that wasn't the case.
That's so sad.
So yeah, it is very sad. That's why that woman became a foster parent, because she wanted to protect children. She knows now how corrupt the system is, but she used to think that they're there to help children. I mean, in this case, I don't know if to be angry at the mom or just, I don't know. I wouldn't forgive her. God forbid, if I was her daughter, there is no way in hell I would forgive this woman.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's impossible to forgive that, something like this, especially your own mother, the one that you feel safe with. When you
My
feel
mom,
safe, yeah, you
my
know what I mean.
mother did the same thing to me, and it was well, they didn't really know about it back then, but it was pretty much trafficking me out to her boyfriends, or however you want to call that
Oh
dynamic.
my God, Star.
Yeah, I've been through a lot, but it's been through, I wouldn't say would never forgive. Some people, don't deserve it, but I've forgiven her, but I haven't forgotten it. There's a big difference with that, because the more that I had that hatred still in my heart for them, for the people that have done this stuff to me, the more it was making me hateful and vengeful. And so once I let that go, you might look like as a pushover or somebody that whatever, but it's lightened me to be able to sympathize even sometimes with them. Not necessarily invite them back into my life without boundaries or things like that in place, but to forgive them and let it go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, baby. I will not, I will not forgive that. There's no way. If that, God forbid, happened to me, I would not forgive that person. I would not, especially if it's your mom not believing you. That child, you, who else is the child going to go to for safety? It's you. The child goes to the mother first, believe it or not, for safety. That's why a lot of mothers are called mama bears, because a mama bear will destroy you when you mess with her kids. And believe it or not, it's far worse than the dad would do. So, to me, if you don't believe your child, you're literally don't. If you don't believe your child, then you're not fit. It just is my opinion, okay? My opinion doesn't mean everybody else. It's my opinion. Um, because children to me are the most important thing. The reason I'm doing this is for the children.
Yeah.
Adults can take care of themselves. I'm doing it for the children. All I want is for the children to go home. That's all I ask for. And that's all I'm doing. And if you guys knew what I'm doing, you cannot even process. But all I want is for the children to go home to their families. So focus on that, and you know, focus on your family, focus on your case. Don't do anything to hurt your case. Please don't do anything. Talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about. Don't just go to anybody because they have so many followers and so many this and so many that. It's crazy. You guys don't know. You have no idea.
Your own
You
research.
have no idea. No, yeah, you guys have no idea. No idea who you're entertaining. And I'm being as God honest truth that I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness, and I put that on every word I'm saying on the Bible. You just don't know. You could be entertaining a demon and you have no idea. So be careful. My friend sent me this today that I actually wanted to read it to you guys. Hold on. She made me save it to my phone. She said, tell those buffoons, I'm not going to tell you who the buffoons are. Tell those buffoons that the same people that spreading lies are the same people that loved you. Okay?
Mm.
At one point. So just be careful who you're entertaining and just be aware of your surroundings, especially around your children. What did look who's underdog says, Miss G, if a dog or a child don't like a person, trust them. The dog and child, not the person. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, baby.
Yep. Animals, especially too.
Animal sense it.
Mhm.
You know what's so funny? Molly, my dog, I have a dog, and yeah, I think you guys saw the cat, my one of my daughter's cat. Um, Molly, I put somebody that I was talking to on speaker. Molly started barking. Brum, 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 bark, 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 bark. I thought it was somebody outside the door, but it wasn't. She was barking at the phone.
Mm.
Dogs sense voices.
Energy. Yep.
Try it with your dog. Dogs sense voices. Then I called somebody else later on after that. Somebody that I know in Oakland. We went to school together. And she was on the phone with me and I put her on speaker. Molly just was asleep. She didn't bark or anything. She didn't go towards me at all. Then I called that person back and put that person back on speaker. As soon as she heard his voice, brr, 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 brr. So try it. If you have a dog, try it.
Mm-hmm.
Try it. So it works. Cats will not do that. Cats don't care.
They don't give a shit.
Cats don't care. You know, my daughter's cat, he just all he cares about is scratching things and eating and pooping. That's it. Pretty much. I'm playing. That's it. That's it. That's all he cares about.
Yeah,
Comes
cats.
to you, yeah. Cats are something else. They're like cool cats. Like you know how you say cool cat? Like like I always say Davis is a cool cat because he's a cool cat. You know what I mean? He's just cool. He
Oh.
don't bother him. Just like a cat. Don't bother him. Leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just I think it's cute. Cats are cute. But Star, thank you for joining me, and you shared an amazing information today. Actually, I really like what you shared today. Till next week, let's scratch your brain a little bit more. Today we talked about TP, TPR, and maybe you can bring it back next week as again as a topic, and maybe Lindsay, my girl, can take notes of that TPR, and let's discuss about TPR because what they're aiming for, what I have seen lately more and more is more TPR children
Mm-hmm.
every day in court. TPR, 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 TPR. There is no reunification services at all. There is absolutely no one will come out of court saying, Hallelujah, I got my kids back. No one.
But you
I
have right
do not.
PRs, and you definitely look into that.
And also before the holidays, before Thanksgiving,
So,
before Easter, before Christmas, you're gonna get a lot of social workers going to the homes and removing children. Be careful with that too. Because if somebody's calling about you or whatever against you, whatever, believe me, they're gonna come right before the holiday and no, like on the day of the holiday even, and especially if it's a weekend, and they will remove your kids like Friday night because You're not going to be able to find an attorney on Saturday and Sunday, obviously, right? Especially if there's a holiday on Monday also. And then you're doomed until Tuesday.
Yep.
And then nobody's going to answer you on Tuesday because some of them take longer holidays, you know? So be careful. Just be careful. Be careful. Always have an attorney present. I mean, not present, but ready
On
for
speed
these
dial.
type of things. Yeah. Have an attorney ready. Like this client that hired our office, hired Davis last week. She had my number for her sister, who CPS was going after her kids, her sister's kids. She had my number. They were coming after her kid, her son. She called me on Sunday night. Was it Sunday? My friend got married last weekend, so I was already busy on the weekend, you know, preparing with her for the wedding and stuff. So she called me Sunday night late and she said, Georgette, CPS is here trying to mess with me and my kid. And I was like, tell them you're speaking to the law office of Vincent Davis. And I said, tell them with that you saying, bitch, you're speaking to the law office of Vincent Davis, right? Because she has that kind of mentality. It's like, bitch, you know, yeah, get out of my house. That's how she is. And I said, say it without the F word, just, or the B word rather, just say that. And the social worker, she said, the social worker said, well, I will be seeing you next week. That's what she said. I kid you not. I kid you not. All she paid, like literally, she like hired us for a brief minute, and nobody has come back yet.
Good.
But again, have an attorney ready, meaning have an office of an attorney ready when these things happen.
So when I want to make a little brochure, it's what to do when CPS knocks on your door.
Yeah,
Tag it.
be ready. Be ready. Be
Yeah.
ready. It's better to pay $2,500, right, to make sure your kids are not removed, than end up paying 18,000 or $17,000 to try to get your child back when you're TPR'd. Think about it for a minute. You
Because those
expect, yeah,
cost more.
TPR.
Yes, they do cost a lot more than the regular hearings. My lawyer, I think it was a couple thousand more than
Yeah,
just the first hearing. Yeah.
yeah, it costs more because if you come to us like today, TPR is tomorrow. I mean Monday. Are you kidding me? And you expect us to what? Present evidence that should have been presented from the first, second hearing? Like, what are you talking about? We're not going to be able to look at your case before next week, right? We need to, well, you can't postpone the hearing because it's TPR. Get it? Some judges will never say, okay, well, we're just going to give you an extension until you get an attorney. No, they'll give you maybe 1 day or a half a day to find an attorney. A half a day or 1 day, depending on the judge. So think about it. Don't expect the attorney to know everything about your kids because you're telling him so.
A lot of times too, Miss G. I mean, we don't know until we're halfway through. At least I didn't know until almost my TPR, I think, was filed, that I had to go for another lawyer. Like I didn't even know that the lawyer that was appointed to me was corrupt. Like a lot of the times, it's like you can't help that it's that further along in the process.
True, but a lot of people don't do their research either.
Right.
I didn't do my research. I was so busy crying. I I was so numbed. I literally was numbed. I didn't. My heart was removed from me.
Yeah.
I kid you not. That's how I felt.
I hear you.
When I got my heart back is when I started fighting, and I'm glad I did because you're in a twilight zone. You think it's not real. You honestly think it's not real. That's why when people like when I see people making fun of like some guests on the shows and outside people, making stupid comments, stuff like that, I get sad inside because that's a mother who went through so much pain and suffering, and we should not mock her or make fun of her, you know? So, um, don't judge other people unless you know them personally, really know them before you judge them. And even don't judge them, just leave them alone. I had to leave a couple of people alone. well, one person recently, but don't pay attention to them. Block them completely from your life and move on. They're not worth it. They're not worth your time, your headache, not worth it, really. Because when you argue with stupid, you just become stupid like them. Remember, you just stoop down to their own level. And I think, Star, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Anyways, so Star, next week you're gonna pick on your brain,
All
your
right.
lovely, knowledgeable brain, and maybe
Prob-
you can help people, maybe deal with CPS, following them
Absolutely.
on
Oh,
what to look for, please. A lot of people want advice on that. Maybe you can handle that and the TPR, and then Lindsay can maybe brush on it as well. And I don't know if she's still listening, but Lindsay can maybe,
yeah.
she just gave us three hearts and like, I don't know. She's so cute.
All right.
Lindsay, yeah, Lindsay will work on that too. Okay. Thank you, Star. Love you.
Bye, guys.
Love you. See you next week.